Okay, hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining today's Spotlight Series presentation. Today we're highlighting electrical and computer engineering graduate programs. With us we have Professor Leahy and Professor Michelle Povinelli, who will be giving us a lot of insight into the electrical and computer engineering department and our master's programs here at Viterbi. So just a bit of housekeeping. We will be following up in a couple of business days. So you will have a copy of the slides after today's presentation. Throughout if you have any questions, you can email us at den@viterbi.usc.edu. And for anyone who joins us after we get started, feel free to chat in your questions and we will address them at the end with the Q&A. So today's program will be about the USC Viterbi School of Engineering, for those of you who haven't joined me at a previous webinar. Then our master's programs in electrical and computer engineering, some frequently asked questions. I'll also talk about Den at Viterbi, which is our online delivery method. And then at the end, we'll have some time to answer any questions you have for Professors Leahy or Povinelli or myself. So just an overview of the University of Southern California. Again, for those of you who may not have joined me for a previous session, we are the oldest private university in the Western United States, founded back in 1880. Currently, we have over 47,000 students with over 26,000 graduate students. We have over 4,700 full-time faculty members, which includes our adjunct faculty, members coming from a variety of different industries and backgrounds. We have a very diverse student population representing a number of different walks of life and locations around the world. For those of you who are not familiar with the Los Angeles area, we are located roughly 15 minutes away from downtown LA. This is just an overview of the Viterbi School for you. The Viterbi School specifically has 8 academic departments. We have over 6,800 graduate students as of last fall, made up of our master's students both on campus and online, and also our doctoral students. In terms of faculty, we have 213 tenure track faculty, 16 full-time and 34 total TT-NAE members. And we have over 90 recipients of the National Science Foundation Career National and Presidential Young Investigator Award. Alongside faculty, of course, comes research. USC Viterbi is a leader in funded research. We have over 35 research centers, majority of which are located here in Southern California. We also invest over $177 million on an annual basis into research. Our faculty members, with the support of their doctoral students, they conduct a ton of research that is then published and then reincorporated into the classroom for our graduate students to learn from. So I'm very happy to introduce you today to Professor Leahy and Professor Povinelli. Dr. Leahy is a professor and chair of the Ming Shui Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering. He received his PhD in electrical engineering from the University of Newcastle and his BS in electrical and electronic engineering from the University of Newcastle as well. He's an elected fellow of the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers and a recipient of the IEEE Nuclear and Plasma Sciences Society Edward J. Hoffman Medical Imaging Scientist Award. We also have with us Dr. Povinelli. She is Dean's Professor of Electrical and Computer Engineering and Vice Chair of the Ming Shui Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering as well. She is a fellow of the OSA and SPIE, as well as a recipient of the NSF Career Award. She's also a recipient of the TR35 Award for Innovators Under the Age of 35 from MIT's Technology Review magazine. So I will hand it off to Professors Leahy and Povinelli. Thank you again both for being with me here today. I also see that we have a new attendee. Just so you know, I will be sending you the slides from today's presentation, after we wrap up in the next few business days. So also, if you have any questions, feel free to chat them in and we will address them at the end when we have time for a Q&A. So thank you for joining us. So I'll hand it off to you. Yes, thank you. Thank you. I'll hand it off to you.
Thank you. So if you could forward 2 slides, that would be great.
Great.
So we're going to tell you about the department here. Dr. Povinelli and I will spend the next few minutes telling you a little bit about the department and the engineering school. Obviously some details about our programs, what our students end up doing, and introduce a few of the faculty. So if you could go to the next slide, please. We are part of the Viterbi School of Engineering, which as said is a large engineering school of 8 academic departments. Electrical engineering is actually the largest of those departments. And we're situated here right near downtown Los Angeles. It's a large metropolitan area of 10 million people nearby. It's a very large economic community here. There's lots of opportunities, and that little map down in the corner there shows that, you know, in addition to ourselves, we have Caltech and UCLA, so three major research universities in this general area. And all of the large tech companies and aerospace companies have uh, organizations or research centers in the LA area. So there are a lot of opportunities locally as well as elsewhere in California for internships for students in our master's program. And a very large fraction these days of our master's students end up in the second year doing internships. The structure of the school is such that we have a new School of Advanced Computing. This was just formed last year. And the two academic departments in that School of Advanced Computing are ourselves, ECE, and also the Computer Science Department. And then we also have an affiliation from the Information Sciences Institute, which is a large research center based out in Marina del Rey, about 10 miles from here on the coast. And also the Institute for Creative Technology, again, is on the west side of LA. Some of our students end up working there either during or after their master's degrees. And we also have a high performance computing center with access to research computing for our students. Next slide, please. Our department then, it's been around not quite as long as the university, but it's a pretty old department formed in 1905. We're also quite a large department. And as you can see, we have close to 1,000 master's students and several hundred PhD students. So we have a very large graduate program here, which gives us the opportunity to offer a very broad array of classes. So pretty much anything in the electrical and computer engineering domain that you might be interested in studying, there's a good chance that we'll offer it here. We're also a research university, so we have a very active research program among our faculty. We're about 60 tenured and tenure track faculty. We also have, I think, 8 full-time teaching faculty and several research professors, and we have literally tens of thousands of alumni out there, many of whom have been very successful. I'll just point out 2 of them. One is Andrew Viterbi. He was the co-founder of Qualcomm and inventor of the Viterbi algorithm, which, if you own a cell phone, has that encoded in it. It's had a huge impact on modern wireless communications. He's also the benefactor of our school, which is why the school is named after him. And then Ming Hsieh, he received his bachelor's and his master's degree from our department back a number of years ago in the 1980s. And he's the founder of Cogent Systems and more recently Fulgent. In fact, if you go to the next slide, it has some more details there. Yeah, so Ming Hsieh has founded these 2 extraordinarily successful companies, and I think he's a model for what's possible if you do a master's degree at USC. He's a wonderful collaborator as well as a benefactor. He's an adjunct faculty in our department. In fact, he's given a pioneer lecture here just this week. So he's very engaged with the department, and he was kind enough to provide support to us so we can do things that are beneficial to our students in terms of we have a research festival, we have a lot of seminars, a lot of activities here that you might find interesting. So next slide, please. Here are some of our many faculty. As I said, we have about 70, including our teaching faculty. Almost all of our courses are taught by full-time faculty. We have a few part-timers. They're usually folks that work in local industry. We have people that work with Google and Amazon that teach for us. The part-time lecturers that we do use are all excellent, really excellent instructors. And they bring an interesting industry perspective to their classes as well. So you're guaranteed good teachers, whether they are full-time or part-time instructors. Next slide. So we do, as I mentioned, we offer classes across the entire array of electrical engineering, and our research reflects that. We do everything from research in novel materials and devices through systems and applications. We have strong groups in photonics and optics, and also in electronics, both analog and digital, VLSI design, and electronic design automation tools. And then on the electromagnetic side, we have classical electromagnetic research, and we also have a strong group in quantum information processing, quantum computing, quantum sensing. We have an increasing number of faculty who work in machine learning and AI, and this is in addition to sort of classical areas of signal image processing, communications, and autonomy, robotics, and control. So when you come here, you'll be able to interact with some of these faculty. They teach classes in their areas of expertise, and I'm sure you'll find something of great interest to you. So next slide, please. In addition to teaching and doing research, our faculty have been successful in starting up companies. The relevance here is we do stuff that is of actual practical relevance to the real world. Some of these companies have been quite successful. This is not a complete list. We have a couple of startups recently in the machine learning area that are doing pretty well as well. Next slide. Okay, so what is the difference between our courses or our programs? Here you have a complete list of all the master's degrees that are offered through our department. And I'm not going to go through the details of each of these in immense detail, but let me point out a few salient features, and then I'll hand over to Professor Povinelli. So the Master's in Electrical Engineering is the sort of broadest of the programs that we have, and essentially you can take any courses that you want in electrical and computer engineering through that Master's program. So if you're not quite sure which area you want to specialize in at this point, if you apply to join the Electrical Engineering Master's program, you can then select among a bunch of different areas, which I'll show you in the next slide, but not just yet. If you know that you want to work in the general computer engineering area, then obviously the Master's in Computer Engineering is for you. And then we have a number of more specialized programs in the general computer engineering area in VLSI, wireless networks, and computer architecture. You can take pretty much the same courses that are in those programs in the computer engineering or indeed in electrical engineering masters as well. But if you particularly want a qualification that points out the area of specialization that you have, you may be interested in one of these programs. The remainder of the programs there in electrical power, machine learning, quantum, and in analog mixed signal, applied physics, and financial engineering, I'll leave to Professor Povinelli to discuss. So could we go to the next slide? So this is the Masters in Electrical Engineering, and most of our master's degrees require 28 units of coursework. You can do 4, occasionally a few more units of directed research towards those 28 units. Most of our courses are 4 units, so that means roughly you're going to take 7 classes. We have a few 2-unit classes, and in which case you can take more than 7 to get up to the 28. And we have multiple areas of specialization that are listed there. And for each of those areas of specialization, if you look at our website, we have sort of flowcharts that will guide you through prerequisites, core classes, and then the advanced electives that you might take in each of these areas. And you don't really need to decide until you join us which of these areas you would like to specialize in or what class to take. So as I said, if you know you want to be in ECE, you're not quite sure which area, then I strongly recommend that you apply to this program. If you can go to the next slide. This is the computer engineering program, which obviously selects from the ECE those courses in the computer engineering area, and you basically select 2 from these 3 areas of specialization of architecture, networks, and VLSI CAD. If you're wanting to get a job in the computer design, computer networking area, then there's a lot to be said for going directly into the computer engineering program. Can I have the next slide, please? So we'll just step through the next few. This is the computer architecture program. What's the next one? Computer networks. The next one, VLSI design, and one more. wireless networks. So this actually is more focused on communications than computer engineering. Each of these programs is listed fully in our USC catalog, and you'll have a copy of these slides, and there are links to each of these programs. And of course, please take a look at what each of these programs offers and the required courses to get a sense of what would be best for you. Have the next slide. So with that, let me hand over to Professor Povinelli to tell you about the electric power and some of the other programs we have.
Hi, and welcome. Thanks for listening to this program today. As you've already heard, our department has a very wide range of specialties, wide range of courses offered, and also a wide range of degree programs. So Professor Leahy has already described the more general programs, the MS in electrical engineering and the MS in computer engineering, which are great kind of flexible all-purpose degrees for students who want to explore their interests within the department and gradually narrow down on their area of specialization. At the other end of the spectrum, we also have several very specialized programs. Some of our students come in with a particular professional interest and career aspiration for their time after the master's. And for those students, some of these more targeted programs may be more attractive. So one of these is the MS in Electrical Engineering, Electrical Power. This program, which focuses on power systems and power systems technology, has instructors that have industry experience, either in the utility industry or other aspects of electric power, and is a very practical program for students who are interested in careers in that area, particularly with increasing interest in power system control and the smart grid. This is a program that students may go into if they already know that they are aiming for that area. And we also get students who are simultaneously enrolled in the program while working. If we go to the next slide. One of our exciting programs recently introduced is the MS in Electrical Engineering, Machine Learning, and Data Science. We're very excited about this program because it offers students with an EE background to get into the field of machine learning, in which many of our faculty are currently doing research and actively writing papers in. So in this program, there are a set of fundamental courses that are required for students. These are basic mathematics that are needed for machine learning. There's a software area requirement to become proficient and flexible with programming and software design. And then there follow a series of courses on learning and data analytics, as well as electives relative to the machine learning and data science area. Next slide. Another somewhat unique program that we have is the MS in Electrical Engineering Quantum Information Science. This program was recently started in response to growing interest in industry in this area. We see that many prominent companies are getting into quantum information science and looking to hire students who are skilled in this area to work on different aspects of quantum communication, quantum computing, and quantum sensing. So this program is a joint program with the physics department, contains both some EE classes, some physics classes, and even a computer science and chemistry class as possible electives. And this combination of physics, EE, and other departments really allows our students to understand both the fundamentals of quantum mechanics and then the applications of quantum mechanics to engineering problems that are increasingly relevant to industry. Students in this program come in from various backgrounds, some physics, some EE, some even other undergrad majors, and the advisors would work with you to determine what your preparation is and then guide you to the most appropriate set of courses depending on your past work. Next slide. And then another relatively new program we have is for students who have a specialized interest in analog, mixed signal, and radio frequency integrated circuits. You can elect to get this specialized master's degree containing the topic in the title of the degree itself. And so here, as you can see, there's some core requirements in the analog, mixed signal, and RF areas, as well as electives. All of the classes in our specialized programs are also open to students in the general MS electrical engineering and MS computer engineering degrees. And so if you found aspects of these programs that appeal to you, but aren't sure about committing to the entire specialized program, the courses are available to you a la carte as well. Next slide. A second program that we have for students who may come from backgrounds other than electrical engineering, such as physics or applied physics, is the MS in Applied Physics. The purpose of this program, which is a joint program between our department, ECE, and the AME department, is to allow students who may have a science background rather than an engineering background to transition into the engineering area by building upon their background in physics, applied physics, or related subjects such as math, and to take courses within the engineering departments and explore potential careers either in applied physics related areas or indeed explore possibilities in the engineering PhD programs that might be otherwise difficult to transition to directly from an undergrad science degree. So this program includes elements of machine learning and computational methods, as well as classes that relate to the applied physics areas within electrical engineering and aerospace and mechanical engineering, such as electromagnetics, optics and photonics, and the mechanics of fluid and solid media. Next slide. And I believe lastly, we also want to make sure you're aware of our program in financial engineering. This is also an exciting opportunity for students who might come from one kind of background to look into a different career area. And so in this case, the MS Financial Engineering program gets students from electrical engineering or similar undergrad backgrounds and teaches them how the types of math and the types of analysis that we do as electrical engineers can be applied to a different domain, which is financial engineering and finance. And so the required courses for this degree are a combination of math-related classes within EE with classes in business, ISE, that's industrial and systems engineering, and class on management of financial risk. There are also a number of electives which are taken across the finance, business, and economics area, as well as the mathematical analysis of optimization, simulation, and stochastic systems. And this is one of the programs of the many that we've discussed. Many of our programs are also available online. I'll just highlight that here. Anytime in this presentation that you saw the little computer icon in the upper right-hand corner, this program is entirely available online via DEN, which is our distance education network. Okay, next page. A variant program, there's also the possibility to do both an MS in electrical engineering and an MS in engineering management as a dual degree, and to complete that within 48 units. So in this case, students apply and are must be admitted both to the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering, the Department of Industrial and Systems Engineering. Take 24 units towards the MS in electrical engineering and 21 units towards MS in engineering management, where we have a very strong program here. And so this is another specialized program that may be of interest for students who know that you're interested in technical management and want to combine a deeper knowledge of your technical courses and technical content with learning about some of the skills and analysis tools useful for management of engineering projects. Next page. One thing many students would like to know when attending webinars or when we speak to them in person is where our alumni are working. And we are happy to report that our alumni find jobs in hundreds of different high-tech companies. Not all of these are listed, but many of which are listed here. So every year we have master's students getting pretty great jobs at companies such as Facebook, Apple, Intel, Amazon, NVIDIA, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. One thing we're very proud of is our career program here in Viterbi. We have some great career counselors. So we have a Viterbi Career Fair annually, where many companies come and have booths looking to hire new graduates from all our various programs. But it isn't just the career fair. The career office here in the engineering school is very active in organizing special sessions on campus with different companies who send representatives here, provide information about the companies and careers within that company, and look to meet our students and employ our students after they graduate. And in addition to career fairs and talks by companies, the Career Services Office provides a number of other services to help support you as you transition from doing your coursework and to completing your program through to finding employment after. Next page.
Okay, I will jump in here. Thank you both so very much. That was super insightful. I actually learned quite a good bit as well myself. So I will take some time now to talk about our online offerings. So in terms of our delivery methods, all programs, of course, that we have, all 60 plus that we have here at Viterbi are available on campus. And a large majority of on-campus students tend to be taking courses full-time, but this is definitely not at all a requirement. It also depends on your goals in terms of how soon you'd like to complete your program. But typically on-campus students take anywhere from 2 to 3 courses at one time, and they usually graduate within 1.5 to 2 years. Normally, students who choose to take summer courses will finish on the earlier end of that 1.5 to 2 years. In terms of our online delivery method, Den at Viterbi, a large majority of our Den students are actually working professionals. So they tend to take 1 or 2 courses, at most per semester, just, as they work 40 hours a week, if not more. But you definitely don't need to be a working professional to be a Den at Viterbi student. We do have some students who are just outside of LA and wanting to study at USC without relocating. That's always, that's absolutely a possibility as well. It's very flexible. So on average, our Den at Viterbi students are graduating in about 2.5 to 3 years, but everybody has up to 5 years to complete their degree program, and you can even petition for 2 extra years on top. So how does Den at Viterbi work? So this is the Viterbi School of Engineering's state-of-the-art proprietary web-based delivery system. It enables students from all over the world to access their classes in 2 ways. So you could watch live by streaming in, or you can watch on demand afterwards as a recording. And Den at Viterbi students do also have a physical seat in each of the classes that they are enrolled in. So you are viewing the same lectures with the same professors as on-campus students, and the content is fresh every single semester. You're able to participate in interactive discussions with your professors and peers. I've even heard from some of our Den alumni that their professors call them the voice in the sky when they stream in to ask questions when they attend live. So you're able to participate that way. You'll be submitting your homework electronically. However, if you live in Los Angeles, Orange, or Ventura County, you will be taking your exams in person here at USC. However, if you don't live in these areas, you will be taking your exams in person at a proctored location, either near your home or where you work. So this slide shows the comparison between a Den at Viterbi student and an on-campus student. So the program admission requirements are exactly the same. So you'll be submitting the same graduate application, and all accompanying materials will be the same. Weekly lectures will be online with interactivity for Den students, but on-campus students would of course be attending at USC's campus. Den students will have access to course archives and documents, and on-campus students only have this luxury if they are enrolled in a Den course. Weekly, assignments for Den students are submitted electronically. However, the deadlines are the same across both delivery modalities. Exams will be taken at a proctored location for Den students, but again, if you are residing in Los Angeles, Orange, or Ventura County, you will be taking your exams here at USC's campus. In terms of the courses per semester, it really varies. If you're a working professional, again, we typically don't recommend taking more than 2 courses at a time. The degree completion requirements are the same and vary by program between 27 and 37 units, depending on your program of interest. And then all Viterbi graduate programs require that students maintain a 3.0 GPA or above. The diploma is exactly the same despite your delivery method and would not distinguish whether you are an online Dennett Viterbi student or an on-campus student. So what are the application requirements and tuition and fees?
Yeah, just before you go on, can I
Yes,
just add something from a sort of faculty perspective on the, if you could go
absolutely.
back to that Den versus on-campus student slide?
Absolutely.
So I, first I want to mention that USC has had a online education system since the 1970s. I think we're one of the very first universities to do this. Technology has changed, but the basic approach has not. And we've always done this so that classes are offered jointly to DEN and on-campus students, as Mina said. So it's literally the same lecture you're watching. Some people are in the classroom, some people are watching remotely. These days, all of these classes are broadcast through a webcast, high quality video. Not, it's much better than your basic Zoom classroom. I want to clarify. And then because it's webcast, all of the lectures are recorded and put online, and so both DEN students and importantly on-campus students have access to all of the DEN materials that are produced. So you can go back and review lectures. Shouldn't use that as the option to skip lectures, but you can always go back and review them later. And so I think it's a nice advantage. And I'd say at least half of our classes at the graduate level are offered through DEN, which means they're taught in the DEN classrooms on campus, and you have access to these webcast materials if you're an on-campus, as well as if you're a DEN student.
Yes, and no, of course, and thank you for adding. Actually, if you attend one of our Dennett Viterbi information sessions, there's actually a slide where you can see kind of a snapshot of the Den classroom. It's really interesting. There's of course, there's the professor lecturing, and then there's students physically seated in the classroom, on-campus students as well as Den students who wish to attend in person that day. And then behind this window, we have a moderator who's kind of making sure that everything is captured for the DEN students who wish to either stream in live or watch as a recording later. So yes, thank you for adding that. I will go back to, here we go. So it's important to know that, every single program will have unique application requirements. Some, for example, some will require letters of recommendation, others are totally optional. That's just one example. So I encourage you to check out our website and navigate to your program of interest to see the specific application criteria for that program. And for anyone interested in starting in spring 2025, which that semester begins in January, the application deadline was on September 1st. However, an application extension can be granted on a case-by-case basis for online Dennett Viterbi students, prospective students who don't require student visa sponsorship, such as an F1 or an I-20. So if you want to get started in January, please reach out to us by email at dennetviterbi.usc.edu. Our email is also at the bottom of this slide. We're very responsive. We'll get back to you within 1 or 2 days. And we'll be able to give you more information on how to receive this application extension for the spring term. However, if you're interested in starting in fall 2025, the application deadline for fall 2025 will be on December 15th. So this is just some additional information. So prospective Dennett Viterbi students who want to get a jump start at taking classes as soon as this coming spring before going through the formal application process, this can be done via what we call limited status enrollment. So this option does require that you have an undergraduate degree in engineering, math, or a hard science or a related field with a cumulative GPA of at least a 3.0 on a 4.0 scale. And it's limited in the sense that there's a maximum of 12 units that you're able to take. And it's important to note that this does not guarantee that you will be admitted when you do formally apply. But it's a really great way of getting a head start on taking courses, as a qualified, prospective student. So if you want to get started in taking courses before starting your formal application process, you'll just need to complete what we call a Dennett Viterbi profile. It's a super quick process. You're able to do this up to, a week before the semester begins. So it's a very quick process. And then we also have something called employer reimbursement deferment, which is something for students whose companies will reimburse them for tuition after the semester. So rather than having to pay out of pocket, you can defer your payment of up to 90% of your tuition until the end of the term. So in order to be eligible, your employer does need to reimburse you for the funds, and your student account does need to be current. And there are a few more, eligibility requirements and steps to take, and that can be found at the link at the bottom of this slide. So do we offer any scholarships or funding? Spoiler alert, yes, we do. So for Dennett Viterbi students, we do have the Dennett Viterbi Scholarship. This is a merit-based scholarship, and it's awarded to outstanding students who are pursuing a master's degree online through Dennett Viterbi. It's a partial scholarship ranging between 1 and 4 units of the award amount. And it's for those who are receiving either partial or no tuition reimbursement funds from their employer. It must be used within the academic year that it's awarded, and you are able to reapply every single year. To be eligible, you do need to have at least a 3.0 GPA from your undergraduate institution, and you either as a newly admitted student or have an application on file. And the spring 2025 application deadline will be on November 15th. So this slide just has a few things that we touched on in this webinar. To get started, you're welcome to visit our beautiful, lovely campus. You can also visit virtually. We have virtual tours available as well. This goes for prospective on-campus students as well as Dennett Viterbi students. And whether you're planning to be an on-campus or Dennett Viterbi student, you can get started with your application for formal admission. And if you're interested in getting started as early as spring 2025, without going through the formal admission process just yet, you can complete your Dennett Viterbi profile to start courses as a limited status student. So we are at the Q&A portion of our presentation. So I'll go ahead and open the floor to anyone who'd like to ask questions. Again, if you have any other questions, you are free to email me at dennetviterbi.usc.edu. You can schedule a call with us. We can, get a chat started about the admissions process or anything else you may have questions about. So I'll allow a couple of minutes for any questions that might come through. I'll allow a couple of minutes. But in the meantime, is there anything either of you wanted to add just about, the admissions process or research opportunities for prospective students? I know that's a question that we get a lot about research opportunities or any opportunities for on-campus students or even online students.
Sure. So many of our master's students do some amount of research towards their degrees through what we call directed research, where you work with an individual faculty member. It's not, our master's degree is not primarily as a conduit to the PhD program, but some of our master's students do choose and apply and are admitted to the PhD program. The vast majority, of course, are getting terminal master's degrees to go out and work in industry. But there are research opportunities. Often this happens, you'll take a class with a professor, you like the work there, and then you'll talk to them afterwards to see if you can extend some of the project work you would have done in the class. So it is definitely an opportunity available to students. Michelle, do you have anything to add on that?
Yeah, that's right. I think in addition to talking about the research opportunities, we always like to say a little bit about LA for students who are applying. For those of you who are coming from outside LA, outside California, or outside the US, it's an exciting place to live. It's a big city with lots of different things available, both professionally and personally. And I think our students find a whole range of opportunities to explore the greater LA area. We like to think that compared to some of the other programs you're looking at that might be in very small, boring towns, that you will benefit just as we do from having a range of opportunities available here in the area. And as Professor Leahy mentioned earlier, that really is one of the large number of companies in the area on the professional side. One of the things that make a lot of our students actually want to stay in California afterwards. So we do find that many of our students move here, really like the area, and then find job opportunities either in Southern California or in Northern California. And so we hope that you'll choose to apply, and we hope to see you here next year.
Beautiful. Yeah, thank you so much for adding that. I can second. LA is a wonderful place to live. Just one of the many kind of draws to coming to an institution like USC. But we didn't have any questions come through. But again, if anything crosses your mind, our emails for both Dennett Viterbi, the online delivery method, as well as our on-campus team are on this slide. Feel free to shoot us a message, and we would love to get in touch with you to discuss the admissions process. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you both so much for your insight and for being here with me as well. And, if you're watching this as a recording, whatever time of day it is, good afternoon, good night. Hope you've had a wonderful, wonderful day. And as we say at USC, fight on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.